Hey, 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 everyone! Welcome back to Strange Mind 6. I'm your host, Ruby, and today we're going to be reading more of 60 Timeless Zen Stories by Aki Yama. But before we begin, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And without further ado, my dear friends, grab a snack, grab a drink, or sit back and relax. And let's get to it. Number 29. Stones of Wisdom. Once upon a time, there was a very wise Zen monk who lived in a small monastery in the hills. One day, a curious traveler approached the monk and asked him to teach something meaningful about life and Zen wisdom. The monk smiled gently and asked the traveler to sit down with him. The monk took 3 smooth stones from the nearby riverbed and showed them to the traveler. "Look at these 3 stones," said the monk. "Each of them represent a valuable lesson about life." The monk handed the first stone to the traveler and said, "This stone represents the past. It has already happened, and it's irreversible. We cannot change it, but we can learn from it and grow." Then the monk handed the second stone and said, "This stone represents the present, the moment we are in right now. It's the only moment we have control over. We must live it fully, with awareness and gratitude." Finally, the monk pointed to the third stone and said, "This stone represents the future, the unknown. We cannot predict what will happen, but we can prepare for it and face it with courage and acceptance." The monk smiled at the traveler and said, "Now, I'll give you a riddle. Which is the most important stone among the 3? The traveler deeply reflected on the monk's lesson and answered, "The most important stone is the second one, representing the present. It's the only moment we have control over, where we can make a difference." The monk nodded in approval. "Exactly. The present is the focal point of our existence. It's in the present that we can apply the lessons from the past and prepare for the future. Cultivating awareness in the present moment is the key to living a meaningful and fulfilling life." The traveler smiled, grateful for the monk's teaching, and walked away from the monastery, carrying not only the 3 stones, but also the precious wisdom he had gained that day. The teaching of this story is that the present moment is the most precious in our lives. Focusing on the present, living with awareness, gratitude, and full attention allows us to apply the lessons from the past and prepare for the future. By cultivating mindfulness in the present moment, we can lead a more meaningful life, fully appreciating the experiences we have and making conscious choices that lead us toward a more fulfilling existence. Number 30. Truth in the Zen Forest. In a small village at the edge of a dense forest, there was a Zen monastery where monks were known for their wisdom and kindness. One day, a monk named Toshi found a bag of gold in the forest. The bag seemed to have fallen from a cart during the village market. Toshi, a young monk with a kind heart, brought the bag of gold to the monastery. The news spread quickly, and soon other monks learned about the found treasure. Toshi, I found this bag of gold in the forest. We must find the owner and return it. All the monks nodded in agreement. However, one of the younger monks, Haruto, envious of the treasure, had a different thought. Haruto, no. No one knows we found it. We could keep it for ourselves without anyone knowing. But an old and wise monk named Master Katsuo had overheard the conversation and intervened. Master Katsuo, honesty is the root of wisdom. We cannot hope to find peace and enlightenment if our hearts are stained with dishonesty. However, Haruto didn't heed Master Kochi's warning. That night he secretly took the bag of gold and fled from the monastery. The next morning, when the other monks discovered the missing gold, Toshi took responsibility for having lost it. Toshi, I'm sorry, brothers. I lost a bag of gold in the forest while trying to find its owner. Master Katsuo, knowing the truth, gently said to Toshi, Toshi, your honesty is a treasure greater than any bag of gold. Truth is always revealed, even when it's hidden. Meanwhile, Haruto, wandering in the forest with the bag of gold, felt increasingly tormented by guilt. He realized that dishonesty brought neither joy nor peace. He returned, handing back the gold and confessing his mistake. Haruto, I was wrong, brothers. I thought dishonesty could bring me happiness, but I've learned that only truth sets us free. Master Katsuo smiled and said, in the forest of life, dishonesty is like a tree without roots. Sooner or later it falls. Honesty is the rock upon which we build our wisdom and well-being. The lesson of this story is that honesty is the root of wisdom and inner peace. The story illustrates how honesty and truthfulness are essential on the path to enlightenment and serenity. Even when it seems like lying might bring temporary advantages, truth is always eventually revealed. Honesty is depicted as a treasure more precious than any material wealth, and those who follow the path of truth and honesty find true wisdom and inner peace. 31. The Magical Seed. In a small village at the foot of a majestic mountain lived an old miller named Toa. He was known throughout the region for his greed. Toa owned a small water mill that he used to grind the wheat of the village farmers. However, despite earning enough to live comfortably, he was never satisfied. One day, as Toa worked at the mill, a wandering monk named Kaito approached him. Kaito was a wise and tranquil man, with a gentle smile illuminating his face. Seeing greed in Toa's eyes, the monk decided to teach him a lesson. Kaito approached Toa and said, I've heard that you are one of the wealthiest men in the village, but I see that your wealth has not brought peace to your heart. I have something for you." He pulled out a small cloth bag from his sack and handed it to Toa. Curious, Toa opened the bag and pulled out a tiny seed. "This seed is magical," explained Kaito. "When you plant it and nurture it with love and care, it will grow into an extraordinary tree that bears magical fruits. These fruits are the essence of happiness and contentment. But remember, you must cultivate it with a pure heart and without greed." Intrigued by the prospect of gaining something so precious, Toa rushed to his garden and planted the seed. Every day he watered it with great care and attention, hoping he would soon taste magical fruits. However, weeks passed, and the tree showed no signs of growth. Impatient and frustrated, Toa began to doubt the monk's words. In a fit of anger and disappointment, he decided to uproot the seed and throw it away. Soon after, Kaito returned to the village and asked to see the magical tree. Toa, embarrassed, confessed that he had uprooted the seed. Kaito smiled understandingly and said, "Toa, the true magic was not in the seed, but in the patience, care, and positive expectation you should have nurtured it with. Your greed and impatience prevented the tree from growing." Toa lowered his gaze full of regret, but Kaito reassured him. "It's never too late to learn the lesson, Toa. True wealth lies in patience, gratitude for what we have, and the love we put into our actions. Cultivate these virtues in your heart, and you will find true happiness." Deeply moved by the monk's words, Toa decided to change his way of living. He started practicing gratitude for the simple things in life and showing kindness and generosity to others. Over time, his greed faded away and was replaced by a sense of inner peace and satisfaction. The magical tree might have been lost, but the lesson he learned from Kaito blossomed in his heart, transforming his life completely. The story tells us greed and impatience can blind us to the precious things life has to offer, but nurturing patience, gratitude, and kindness, we can find inner peace and genuine happiness, even in life's simplest pleasures. 32. The Enigma of the Sun. In an ancient Zen monastery, there was an elderly master known for his wisdom and intelligence. One day, one of his young disciples, Yuki, approached him with a question. "Master," said Yuki, "I wonder why the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening. Is there a deeper meaning behind this cycle?" The master smiled and replied, "Yuki, this is a profound question that deserves an equally profound answer. Come back tomorrow at dawn, and I will give you an answer." The next day, Yuki arrived at the monastery at dawn and found the master waiting for him. The master led him to a hill from which they could see the sun rising slowly on the horizon. The master said, "Look at the sun, Yuki. It is a symbol of enlightenment and awareness. It rises in the morning to bring light into the world, driving away the darkness of the night. But look closely. The sun rises without making a sound, without announcing its presence. It is a silent act of beauty and perfection." Yuki nodded, captivated by the beauty of the moment. The master continued, "And when the sun sets in the evening, it teaches us the importance of relaxing and letting go. The day ends, and so should we let go of the day's worries. The sun does not fight against the sunset. It surrenders to the night in all its majesty." Yuki reflected on the master's words. Then, with an expression of understanding, he said, "So the enigma of the sun is that it teaches us to bring light into the world with kindness and humility, without seeking applause or attention, and it also teaches us to relax and let go when the time is right." The master smiled and nodded. "Exactly, Yuki. The sun shows us the path of wisdom through its silent light and its serene acceptance of the natural cycle of life. Always remember it in your heart as you continue your journey on the Zen path." Yuki thanked the master for his precious lesson and walked away from the hill, carrying the sun's teaching in his heart. This Zen story teaches the importance of enlightenment, awareness, and acceptance in life. The sun symbolizes these qualities. It rises silently, bringing light without seeking attention, teaching kindness and humility. When it sets, it signifies the value of relaxation and letting go, accepting life's natural cycles. "33. The Wisdom of Fluff." In a small forest at the edge of a peaceful village lived a friendly little rabbit named Fluff. Fluff was known for his kindness and apparent innocence, but behind his bright eyes there was a profound wisdom. One day, a cunning cat named Shadow and a fox named Sly devised a plan to deceive Fluff and steal his treasure. Shadow, with a honeyed voice, said, "Oh, sweet Fluff, we've heard about your splendid burrow, and we would love to admire it up close." Sly, with a crafty smile, added, "Yes, Fluff, we would be honored to see how cozy your burrow is. We could learn so much from you." Although Fluff sensed the deceit in their eyes, he replied kindly, "It would be my pleasure to show you my burrow." As Fluff showed them his burrow, Shadow and Sly secretly tried to find a way to steal the hidden treasure. However, Fluff had anticipated their intentions. While the two intruders were distracted, Fluff made a gentle sound that summoned the forest animals. A family of wise owls flew to Fluff's aid. Seeing the intruders, the owls surrounded Shadow and Sly, forcing them to retreat. The fox and the cat were forced to flee, leaving the forest in haste. Fluff thanked the owls with gratitude and said to them, "True cleverness lies in recognizing deceit and in seeking help when needed. Thank you for saving me." From that day on, the story of Fluff and his cleverness spread throughout the village, teaching everyone that true wisdom lies in recognizing deceit and in seeking help when necessary. The story tells us Fluff, the little rabbit, demonstrates that kindness and cleverness can overcome the cunning and malice of others. The story reminds us of the importance of trusting our instincts, being astute when faced with deceptive situations, and asking for help when needed. Moreover, it teaches us that assistance can come from the wise individuals around us, and that collaboration and kindness can triumph over any form of deceit. And this is where we are going to leave it, my dear friends. Tune in next video for number 34, Harmony in Unexpected Notes. This has been Ruby, signing off.